Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Mia, and today I'm talking about High School Musical, the series, Season 3, Episodes 3 to 6. So let's get straight into it. My review on Episodes 1 and 2 of Season 3 are linked below. Hey guys, by the way, this video was recorded before Camp Prom came out, so sorry if some of the information is incorrect. Episode 3 is titled Woman in the Woods. And we start off by finally getting the cast list reveal. It's taken 2 episodes and I'm happy we're finally getting it. So we got Courtney as Elsa, Gina as Anna, Ricky as Kristoff, Jet as Hans, Carlos as Olaf, Alex and Emmy as Young, Anna and Elsa, and EJ as Sven. Not 100% sure why Val wanted to add to his plate and cast him as Sven. I'm still waiting for an explanation from her. My predictions of the cast list from my last video were just about right. The only thing I wrote switched up was Jet and Ricky. Carlos gets called out by Maddox for changing up the cast list, but that is actually completely brushed over the rest of the episode. I really wish they went into it. He should have faced some consequences, and we never exactly found out what he did to change the cast list, but my theory is that he switched him and Ricky because he was complaining about Ricky always getting the lead, which he does, but I'm thankful that Ricky will be Kristoff because I don't think Carlos really suits the role. Gina's super proud to be casted as the lead of this play, and EJ comes to congratulate her with some flowers, but honestly they look a little bit like weeds. I love EJ, but they do look like weeds. Ashlyn, I forgot to mention, was casted in the ensemble, and she's not too happy about it.
The ensemble?
Especially after playing Belle last season. She's a little frustrated, and Maddox calls her a Leo rising. And I'm not into that zodiac sign stuff, but I guess that comment caught off Ashlyn into her fight or flight.
I get it. You're a Leo rising. Capricorn rising, actually.
Courtney's proud to be Elsa, and I'm proud of her too. She's finally getting her time to shine. No one really, congratulated her except for Gina. The Shallow Lake campers are going into the woods to have an overnight camp out for initiation night. Quickly, time changes and it becomes nighttime because timeline. Ricky's out in the woods exploring a little shrine and he has a talk with Jet. Jet says his parents and him have an interesting relationship. He also says his parents were giving him ADD medication even though he didn't have ADD, which is an interesting plot line. I wonder if they're going to brush over that or that's going to become important. I would rather them talk about it than just put that out there. Then they all are at a campfire. EJ is super stressed because Corbin Blue is coming back the next day, which is the next episode. I'm not quite sure. There's only 8 episodes this season, but this is supposed to take over the place of 2 weeks, so I don't know what days we're skipping here. Everyone's gathered around the campfire and EJ gets to sing a song. Another EJ song, thankfully.
Make your moneymaker, Caswell!
He gets to sing the Ballad of Susan Fine. I thought it was called the Ballad of Shallow Lake, that's what they call it in the episode, but that's wrong. I love Matt Cornett's voice, and I think he deserves a serious song, because the only songs he's really gotten by himself is A Billion Sorries, and now this. Also, who the heck was here during this song? Who the heck was that? After EJ leaves to go work on the script some more, Maddox tells the story of the woman in the woods. It's not really scary. This episode was really going for a campy horror episode, but of course it's a Disney show, so there's no gore, no scary, no actual death. But still, the story of the woman in the woods isn't that scary in my opinion. I know it's a kid's show, but even if I was a kid, I don't think I'd be that scared of it. But everyone at the campfire is terrified, especially Courtney. One big personality trait about Maddox is that she loves everything about this camp. So she's super excited to be telling all these newbies about the woman in the woods. But while she's telling the story, Jet has to make fun of the story and he makes everyone laugh, which she's not really into because she wants it to be scary. So she gets mad and storms off. And that's when Jet calls her Maddie. And at that very second, I knew for a fact they had history. Due to previous episodes, a lot of people were shipping them. I wasn't really one of them. I wanted to see how far they developed, but just due to his audition, I knew for a fact they had history, but that's when we get confirmation. He goes after her, and we find out
he was trying to get me to
I'm
loosen
glad you have friends, Jet, really. I'm sure Mom and Dad will be thrilled.
they're siblings. This might be the biggest plot twist that Tim Federle has ever pulled on this show. And personally, I'm a big fan. Because before this, none of the characters really had siblings except for Gina, and Jordan Fisher hasn't been here since that one episode. So I'm very happy to see a sibling relationship, and it seems to be a big part of this season, which I'll dive into more in the later episodes. We find out they both have interesting sides of the story. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but I totally believe that Maddox is the older sibling. Courtney and Carlos are in their tent. They're talking about being the Finer Things Club, which is honestly hilarious. Carlos and Ricky team up to scare Courtney. I just think it's a really cute moment. It's not really important to the plot.
Unless you're already dead. And if you're first, then that would make the writer kind of homophobic.
I want to know where Ricky got this costume, because did it come from the barn? I don't know, maybe he just packed it, because they pack a lot of crazy things. Ricky goes up to EJ and says that he wants to go explore the shrine in the woods with him. The shrine is what Maddox made at the end of episode 2. Gina wants to go explore the shrine as well, but EJ's just way too busy with the script. Ashlyn also breaks in at this moment and wants to know what time she was born. Ashlyn, being mad about being put into ensemble, is very mad at Val, and she's very mad at Maddox for calling her a Leo rising, because she firmly believes she's a Capricorn rising. EJ snaps at all of them, tells Ashlyn what time she was born, and she tells Ricky and Gina that he isn't able to go explore the shrine. So the two of them go off into the woods by themselves. So most of the episode is Ricky and Gina walking through the woods. Nice treat for those Rena's fans. Meanwhile, Ashlyn is running through the woods and she goes up to the barn where there's a piano. She sings the song Rising. It's another music video moment. Her voice is so powerful that it scares Ricky and Gina into thinking it's the woman in the woods. I really like the Rising song itself. Ashlyn is going through an identity crisis, and I think the song is showing that perfectly. Also, the stars inside the barn with the spotlight on her is really beautiful. It really reminds me of Wondering from season 1 with Olivia. Oh, this is also the very first episode of the show without Olivia. And this is the episode where everyone kind of realized that Ashlyn was changing a lot from her season 1 and season 2 persona. Her character is going through an identity crisis, and she's become very rude to other characters, but I'm assuming it's all for good reason. But I really hope she goes more to her season 1 path, because I did love Ashlyn, but she's being a little bit annoying right now. Ricky and Gina break in and are scared that it's Ashlyn, even though they should have recognized her voice.
Gina!
You're the woman in the woods?
Meanwhile, EJ's still stressing about the script, and he's talking to Carlos and Courtney, and Carlos says that Ricky and Gina are definitely lost in the woods together, making EJ a little bit mad. And the episode ends with Ricky and Gina walking out of the barn together, which could be foreshadowing, probably is, but I felt like this episode was extremely short and there wasn't too much plot. It was kind of like a filler episode, and there's not room for much filler when you only have 8 episodes. The campy horror effect was very different, a different pace for the show, but I'll give this episode like a 6 out of 10. Episode 4 is called No Drama, a very misleading title. This episode's all about the Wildcats' first play rehearsal with Corbin Bleu. And we quickly start off the episode by getting the musical number Fabulous, and I have a few things to say about this. First off, I totally knew they were going to do Fabulous this season. The second that they announced that they were singing High School Musical 2 songs. I love that Carlos and Courtney both sing it. The costumes are all really fun. I love the pink. I'm questioning a little bit if all the campers packed pink clothes, or where did that come from exactly? Did every camper conveniently pack swimwear that was pink? Ashlyn also now has hair extensions in like every single color. The song itself is a very nice remix, new modern touch, I'd say. But I think the song's a little bit overproduced. There's like a backtrack that's kind of like drowning out the vocals in my opinion. But the visuals of the song itself was really nice. The choreography was simple, but simple enough to be amazing. And I think the dancers did really good. We have all new dancers this season, which I think they're doing really great so far. And the pool choreography was something I definitely needed. I also love that Ashlyn and Gina were also in the background, enjoying it. I want to know where Ricky and EJ went though, because they were at the beginning of the scene, but they weren't there. And at the end of the song, we get a little Dewey appearance. You know my opinions on Dewey.
Is that Ariana Grande?
But this was definitely a missed opportunity to say, was that Miley Cyrus / was that Hannah Montana? The whole purpose of the musical number is to impress Corbin when he first arrives at camp, but even after the number, he hasn't arrived yet. So we go straight to the barn where they're all warming up and EJ's in the little tents. But Corbin arrives just in time. We are then introduced to the idea of EJ taking a gap year, which is something I didn't even think of in my last video when I was thinking of theories of how he's still going to be in season 4. Then we find out that his father, Cass Caswell, doesn't want him to take a gap year. Instead, he's sending him to St. Louis for the Caswell Success School. But we also learn at the same exact time that Gina's mom is moving back to Salt Lake City, therefore she and EJ would be neighbors. He decides to not tell her about the letter, and at that moment, I knew that 1, Portwell was in trouble, and 2, EJ was kind of rooting back to his season 1 ways. With Corbin now here, everybody's ready and sitting in a circle for their first read-through. Jet's missing, and 2, Ricky keeps trying to hug Corbin Blue. We find out that is because Ricky has a bucket list for his birthday, which is on opening night. I paused to read the list, and he has some funny things on there. Most of them are crossed out, and some of them are like references to things he did with Nene in the past, which is super adorable. Also, he talks about Casey Stroh coming to the teacher board meeting in episode 6 of season 1, which is a little confusing because what was Casey Stroh doing at the parent-teacher thing for Miss Jen? But then again, I talked about the show and the universe itself. It doesn't really make sense. Speaking of, Corbin is playing a villainized version of himself, and I think it's a little bit funny. Channing, his cameraman, I love him. He's a little annoying, but I think he's hilarious sometimes. His references are iconic. But to be honest, EJ is the one who really needs a hug. He's really stressed out. Courtney's trying to get Corbin Blue to notice her, and she does a great job at it. Ashlyn's kind of beefing with Val. The love triangle's having some awkward moments, and Channing assumes that Gina, Courtney, and Carlos are in a love triangle. Interesting choice, man. During the read-through, people finally realize that Jet is missing, and Maddox says he's just doing it for attention. Jet and Maddox are still hiding the fact that they're siblings, and because of the disaster that the read-through has caused, EJ storms out to take a break to the canteen, a new set. Canteen's a cute little, I guess it's like a little lounging area. It's really cute. I love the stained glass windows. I love the sets this season. It's a different pace from looking at the same school East High hallways. While in the canteen, Val returns and she reveals that they in fact lost Jet.
Guys, we lost Jet.
What?
Just kidding. I guess he just walked out of camp and Dewey let him, but I guess his parents picked him up, but we later find out that his parents didn't even take him home, they just put him back at the camp. Their parents have some questioning skills. Corbin is disappointed in the lack of drama happening, so he decides to get someone to sing a song. Ricky offers to sing Love is an Open Door with Gina, but EJ quickly stops him. Corbin decides that EJ and Gina should sing Love's an Open Door. Now, I was so excited for this number when I heard about it, and I think that the promo pictures they released the day before ruined it, because the pictures were of EJ and Gina in the costumes of Anna and Hans, which kind of ruined the surprise when they started singing, and the next thing I knew they were in costume. It was a really adorable number. This is another music video moment, which they've had one for every episode this season, and it seems to be a running theme, and I'm totally okay with it. Personally, Sophia and Matt's voices on this song sounded incredible. I love them with the lower range. I think they sound better there. I do have to note there's like another beat going on in the background, and it's really annoying. It kind of drowns out the voices again. I think it's the overproduction on the production end, not so much the actors. Also, I'd like to mention that ship preference shouldn't judge how much you like the song, because I saw a lot of people hating on Love's an Open Door just because they don't ship Gina and EJ, but in my opinion, you can still love that song. Because I love What Do You Know About Love, even though that's a Ricky and Gina song. It's been so difficult to film this video. I keep getting interrupted. After Love is an Open Door, we see that Ricky's a little bit jealous and he storms out. Gina follows him and sees that he's practicing his lines, and she teases him about his things to do before I'm 18 list. EJ catches them and walks away a little bit jealous himself. He talks to Val, and we find out that he told Val about the letter from his dad. Plot twist. We get another Ashlyn and Maddox scene. I'm pretty sure there's foreshadowing, but so far this season's surprising me. I don't think Maddox and Ashlyn are going to end up together. Rehearsal ends and everyone goes to movie night. I like this little detail where we see Val's poster that she was working on earlier hung up. Gina and Courtney have a little conversation about how Courtney's feeling anxious about playing the lead and how her mom sent her a care basket. Gina tells Val change the movie from High School Musical 3 to Camp Rock because it's Courtney's comfort movie. Gina is a good friend. Val thinks that Gina is asking her about the letter, but quickly realizes that she messed up.
This isn't complicated at all.
Jet returns and Val gives him a lecture about how he should have been there for his castmates. He goes off to go back to the cabin. Ashlyn and Maddox have another little scene at the movie night. Speaking of the movie, they're playing the scene of Camp Rock where Mitchie throws flour over her face. First off, there's a funny laugh track. This scene is not funny. None of the audience should be laughing that much. Two, there's this really weird duck sound effect over the video. I've seen other people talk about it, so it's not just me. I really thought it was my phone acting up or something. Gina and EJ are sitting together at the movie night, and Ricky is strategically placed right behind them. Portwell is doomed. Courtney also has a phone call with her mom, is really emotional. The scene feels very real, a real conversation, and even though it was over a phone call, I still felt all the emotions. I can't wait to see Courtney's storyline continue in the final 2 episodes. The actress that plays Courtney's mom is Dara Renee's mom in real life, which is adorable. After the movie night, EJ decides that he's gonna finally tell Gina about the letter. But when he goes looking for her, he instead finds Corbin and Channing. Corbin and Channing tell him that their group may not be good enough for his documentary because they're not able to provide enough drama. But EJ, he decides to sacrifice himself basically and says that he will get them drama. And the episode ends with Gina finding the letter and confronting Val about it. I would give this episode like a 7.5 out of 10. There wasn't too much plot development again. The songs were good. I love that Corbin was in it, and we got some pretty well acted out scenes. Episode 5 is called The Real Campers of Shallow Lake. So technically this episode's full name would be High School Musical, The Musical, The Series, Season 3, Episode 5, The Real Campers of Shallow Lake. That's a mouthful. This whole episode's premise is the group fabricating fake drama in order to impress Channing and to make Corbin keep them as the stars of the documentary. But of course the drama goes a bit too far. The episode starts with Carlos, Val, and EJ bringing the entire theater group together to have a morning meeting. Gina walks in and you can tell she's clearly mad at EJ about the letter from last episode. Carlos takes it upon himself to make a list of all the fake drama that needs to happen and cast everybody into roles. I'm going to read off the list. We have Courtney as the judgy one, Jet as the bad boy, Ricky as the jilted ex, Ashlyn as the one with a dark past, Maddox as the crier, EJ as the one who's there for the wrong reasons, Gina as the one with a catchphrase, Val as the shrink, and Carlos as the instigator. I was really excited for this episode. A bunch of the cast members, Josh included, said that this was his favorite episode to date. So I had high expectations and I think they were exceeded. The to-do list Carlos makes also includes someone needs to cry, someone needs to get slapped, a drink needs to get thrown, and someone needs to be caught on the hot mic. Personally, I think he forgot the one where someone pushes all the stuff off the table in anger. I've greatly missed Carlos taking the lead and controlling everyone basically, especially when he said 5, 6, 7, 8. I got flashbacks to season 1. This episode actually has a few callbacks.
I'm dying. I'm deceased, yes.
I'm dying, yes. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and.
Then we move on to Ricky and EJ who are practicing the fake slap. It's a really funny scene until Ricky actually slaps EJ. The funny thing about this is that Carlos doesn't react or anything, and nobody else sees it. Ricky does like to hit EJ, as we know from season 1 as well. Also, Ricky says that EJ stole Gina from him. EJ didn't steal Gina from Ricky, just gonna put that out there. I'm pretty sure Ricky was with Nene when they started kind of getting together, or flirting at the least. Carlos also takes it upon himself to assign everybody love interests. He makes Ashlyn and Maddox both in love with Jet. And at this point I was like, Maddox, sweetie, you need to tell everybody that you and Jet are siblings or Carlos is going to keep shipping you. He also assigns Jet to be in love with Courtney, which I think that Jet has a little bit of a crush on Courtney. There were just a few moments in this episode and the next one where I was like, he has something. Or I hope Jet and Maddox are in season 4 because I think him and Courtney could be a fun thing, especially since Howie is off to college kissing girls, according to Courtney. Channing then arrives without Corbin because Corbin's apparently scouting out different kids for the documentary. Gina is just so mad at EJ, she's glaring at him, she's not even speaking to him. It's very much giving Gina 1.0 if to put it in Ashlyn's words. But lately, EJ is also giving EJ 1.0 vibes, which no one talks about either. Each clip I film, the sun goes down more. Then we get the costume reveal for Carlos. He's in his Olaf costume, and honestly, it's hilarious. It's beautiful. And then we get Alex and Emmy, their first appearance since episode 2. And they're singing A Little Bit of You from Frozen, the Broadway musical. The song is cut short because Carlos is complaining about becoming legally a margarita. And honestly, it's really funny. But then we find out that Carlos did not invite Alex and Emmy to the morning meeting, therefore they have no idea that they are creating all this fake drama, and they do not tell them.
I think I broke the children.
The extended version of A Little Bit of You on the soundtrack sounds incredible. I recommend listening to the full version. Then we get a little fake drama between Gina and Courtney, and Gina throws a drink at Courtney. It was majorly paralleling the homecoming episode in season 1 where she pours the drink on EJ's head. But thankfully, she does not pour the drink on Courtney's beautiful hairstyle this episode. And we get a scene with Gina, Ricky, and Jet playing their characters. Jet makes his voice deep to prove that he's a bad boy, which is kind of funny because he's kind of proving himself that he's not a bad boy opposed to everybody's suggestions. Then we get a fake slap between Courtney and Carlos. It's honestly hilarious.
Ow! My face! I've been slapped.
Then the love triangle gets a little scene, and we get to see EJ in his beautiful Sven costume. Not beautiful. Honestly, when I saw a leaked photo of him in it, I laughed and was about to cry. Who did this to you? First the Gaston costume, and now this? It's getting worse for EJ. And if they can afford the sets that they were building in last episode, then how can they not afford better costumes? The next scene requires Gina and Ricky to sing What Do You Know About Love, also from the Frozen Broadway musical. EJ has to stand on stage as Sven, awkwardly, the whole entire time. Gina and Carlos plan to torture EJ through the song by having Gina get a little too close to Ricky, which she indeed does. The song's incredibly good. They dance all around through the backstage, which isn't very conventional for the actual opening night play, but it was cute to see them go through the costumes and the dressing rooms, I guess. And also Ricky does a little Troy dance move when he's on the pole, or the ladder, I mean. He does a pole dance thing though, Richard. The song's really cute, and it ends with them looking like they're about to kiss. Oh no. And you can just see EJ's heart shatter. I do have a question though. Why weren't Gina and Ricky in their costumes as well? Because Carlos and EJ were in their costumes. Alex and Emmy should also be in their costumes. Plus, Love is an Open Door had Gina and EJ in costumes. What Do You Know About Love should also have Gina and Ricky in costumes. I kind of want to see Ricky's Kristoff outfit soon. I love hearing Josh's voice, and him with Sophia is a new surprise. I don't think we've had a Gina x Ricky duet yet, have we? And also, my favorite part of the song is when they say anything, anything. Maybe I'll put the clip in if it doesn't get copyrighted.
Anything, anything.
Gina leaves to have a talk with EJ, and Ricky talks to Carlos, trying to be in character. Val can easily tell and see straight through Ricky and tell that he does have feelings for Gina. She's just like Jet, just tell it straightforward. I hope the lighting isn't getting worse. The sun is almost gone. EJ and Gina have a talk, but it's not really an apology. It's not really talking about how they're feeling. It's more of a it'll be better tomorrow talk, which is not good for them. They need to get better at communicating. Gina and Ricky also have a talk sitting on the bench. I thought Ricky was going to confess something, but he didn't because they got cut short because Channing comes up and tells everyone that he forgot to take the group photo. So they're all sitting on the stairs and they're all holding little photo booth props. And then Gina says,
Almost home as in Salt Lake or St. Louis?
Wait, what? Oh shit! Oh shit!
And then they take the group picture. And then we get a real scene of real drama. But something tells me that Channing has set up secret cameras around camp because this scene was so out in the open, and something tells me it's going to end up in that documentary. So Courtney starts yelling about how they need to put it together because she's scared that she won't be able to do it on opening night. And Carlos is like, why are you so anxious? So she believes that Gina told Carlos, but I don't think Gina did. Everyone gets really stressed out, and other secrets start to come out. Maddox telling Ashlyn it's okay to have feelings for Val, but she shouldn't yell. Ashlyn gets really defensive, and Jet gets mad at Maddox. Jet and Maddox then reveal their siblings. They have a huge fight. They both storm out. Ricky is super stressed out and he proceeds to lie on the ground. Gina and EJ have a little fight/talk and they also storm out, I think. Carlos realizes he made the terrible mistake to ship Jet and Maddox.
Jet and Maddox are siblings?
Ricky is still on the fact that Jet and Maddox are siblings when Ashlyn name drops EJ.
Elton John Caswell. I am so disappointed in you.
Wait, that's what EJ stands for?
Rocket Man.
Which is Elton John Caswell. The best part of this episode, hands down. I told you last video how the leak on the D23 website said that EJ's name was Eric James, but thank God it is Elton John Caswell. It's the name that I believed in since season 1, and it has finally come true, and I expected nothing else. I mean, his camp nickname is Rocket Man. Of course it was going to be Elton John. When Gina storms out, she says you're acting like an old version of yourself, or you're just the real EJ of Shallow Lake. In my opinion, Gina, you shouldn't have that much room to talk because Gina herself also has an old version of herself that she doesn't like. So she shouldn't be mad at EJ for showing off his because she sometimes shows off hers. They just need to talk. All they need to do is talk. Communication is such an important thing in a relationship, and Gina and EJ are not doing that. Courtney has a little talk with Alex and Emmy to encourage them that this is not what really theater kids are like, but they don't seem too interested in it. I'm curious how their stories will continue because they are barely in any episodes. I really thought they were going to have a bigger part. Ricky goes to find Jet and Jet gets mad at him. Ricky tells him to write a song because he literally is a mini Ricky. Jet walks off and Carlos meets up with Ricky. Ricky then confesses to Carlos that he in fact does still have feelings for Gina. But turns out Channing was behind the bush filming, which is probably illegal. Also leads me to believe that he has cameras all around. I think the person in the song, The Ballad of Susan Fine, that you see running in the woods, I'm pretty sure that was Channing. And he probably captured videos of Gina and Ricky lost in the woods that will probably be used in documentary. Then we go to the canteen where Jet is at the piano and he's singing a song. I love Adrian Lyle's voice. I cannot appreciate it enough. And he sings the song Right Place. It's a beautiful song, and the music video moment didn't hit me until I saw baby Jet and Maddox. First off, the casting was incredible. They're literal mini me's. They're like identical to Sailor and Adrian. Like, look at this picture. Like, they're the same person. The little baby them, oh my god. It pulled at my heartstrings so much. Jet and Maddox have such a nice storyline that I'm so happy they're developing, and they've developed it so much that getting rid of them for season 4 would be useless. So they have to be in season 4, and I also need them to have a last name. Also, the cast is going to D23 next weekend, and I'm pretty sure they're going to perform, announce the musical for season 4, and they should probably confirm Jet and Maddox are going to be in season 4. And then at the end of the episode, we get a little cliffhanger of EJ going to call someone on the phone. He's wearing a Letterman jacket, and I know that is symbolism for his EJ 1.0 vibes. And now it's time for episode 6. I'm so sorry if the lighting is tremendous. I also realized I already did my outfit change and I forgot to rank the last episode. I would rate it a 8 out of 10. I beautifully loved the fake fabricated drama, and the comedy was top tier. And now it's time for episode 6, Color War. I tried to find something blue or yellow to wear to support the teams, but I could not find anything except for this. So here I am wearing blue and the yellow in the background for the yellow team, which, spoiler alert, they win. The episode opens up with a horror movie type scene with Channing's camera being on dark mode, I guess. I'd like to note that in the timestamp corner it said 5:44. It's kind of funny because when I was watching the episode it was 5:44 in the morning. I took a screenshot. I thought that was funny. Corbin surprises the boys, wakes them all up. Ricky's first intention is to attack them. EJ holds him back. Caswin? RJ? Ricky x EJ? Plot twist. I'm down. Corbin surprises them and says that they are going to be doing Color Wars, which is kind of funny because in the first episode they say they only have 2 weeks at camp to do the entire musical, but they're wasting this day doing Color Wars anyways because Corbin wants to. Jet also has a little ducky, which is the same duck we see in the Right Place music video. We see Gina in the barn with Maddox learning to canoe, and Maddox says to commit to one side. Ricky interrupts them and... Ooh, not Ricky. What? EJ interrupts them, and he sits in the canoe with Gina. and they share a little kiss. It looks like they have apologized from last episode because they're on better terms. I guess EJ was right. It will be better tomorrow. EJ disappoints Gina by saying the canoe race was canceled. Were they going to do the canoe race in the pool because they don't have a lake? Everyone is seated up on the giant bleachers. This camp has a budget. And Corbin and Dewey are announcing the very beautiful color war that is about to happen. And they mentioned the Disney Channel games, which is something I wasn't expecting them to mention. It's funny because Corbin and Jason Earls were both on there, but you know, Jason Earls is playing Dewey, not himself. And then they announced the teams. On blue team, we have EJ, Gina, Ricky, and Ashlyn. And on team yellow, we have Maddox, Jet, Courtney, and Carlos. I wasn't really rooting for a certain team, but from all the distractions blue team has, yellow team definitely had it in the bag. Prize for the winning team is to get their phones back to text whoever they want. And I'm assuming that's how they get Seb to go to the camp prom in the next episode. Yeah, the sneak peek came out earlier today. I'll talk about that in a minute. So Corbin says,
I'm Corbin Blue. You're watching Disney Plus.
And it definitely put me in the feels. Jet and Ricky have a talk where we figure out that Jet didn't actually out Maddox. He misunderstood the situation. I wasn't gonna be too soon to take Maddox's side or Jet's side because I like to hear both sides of the story, and I love both of these siblings who don't have a last name yet. Val greets Ashlyn with another letter from Big Red. Ashlyn kind of snaps at her per usual, and she walks off. Then we have EJ in the barn, and we get our very special guest star, Miss Jen herself.
I can't believe you actually came to help me.
EJ. My tallest child.
Gina and Ricky are at the basketball court, and Gina doesn't really notice that EJ isn't there. Gina explains to Ricky that she's not very good at sports, she's only good at dance. But then Corbin comes over, he responds to Chad. He says you need to put your head in the game, basically. But next thing we know, Gina gets hit in the head with a basketball, and she falls over so slowly and so gracefully. And next thing we know, she's in a musical number. We get a Sophia and Corbin Blue song. Nobody in the world expected us. There's a bug. I killed the bug. Nobody in the world expected a Corbin Blue and Sophia Wiley duet, but we got it. And they're dancing, and they're in basketball clothes, and they're playing basketball. I wasn't a big fan of the song. It sounded a little auto-tuney. But that's just my opinion. Honestly, the dancing and the costumes carried for me. Gina is awoken by a beautiful slap from Carlos.
Carlos? But you still have a chance to be the hero.
Carlos loves to wake up people from their High School Musical cast member dreams.
Miss Jen, say something!
And Gina turns very extra. She does a pirouette. I think it's like a triple one. And next thing we know, she made a three-pointer. I don't know anything about basketball. Channing filmed Gina passing out. That's gotta be a little bit funny. Especially the way that she most perfectly landed on her arm. Her head was not ruptured in the making. Miss Jen is giving EJ a crash course on directing. He's learning all of her beautiful skills. And honestly, the scene just made me laugh because Matt Credet's facial expressions are everything. Miss Jen also refers to herself as mommy.
Carlos is here.
Don't use Carlos. Carlos is mommy's.
EJ takes a break from Miss Jen and goes to watch the Dewey Says tournament. It's basically Simon Says, but Dewey is running it. We get a brief mention of the camp prom, which will be episode 7. And Jet and Maddox end up winning this round of Dewey Says. Jet gives her a high five, and Maddox's reaction is just everything. I really need these siblings to make up because they're honestly turning up to be with some of my favorite characters. EJ cannot keep a secret, and he tells all of the Wildcats about Miss Jen's return, and we flash to them all in the barn talking to Miss Jen. For once, I think I've missed Miss Jen. I've missed Miss Jen. Yep, honestly, I missed her bond with all of the kids. It's actually really wholesome. I was a little bit mad at her last season, I'll be honest. She gets a little moment with all of them. I love how Miss Jen always knows what to say. She always knows what's happening with these kids, and they don't even have to say anything. She helps Ashlyn with her little situation with Val. She helps Courtney through her anxiety. She talks to Carlos about his insecurity of his body, and she helps EJ through his directing issues. Gina doesn't really get a moment with her, so I'm a little bit mad about that. They take her out to see the rock climbing wall tournament thing. Gina and Courtney are up. Courtney refuses to do it. She's too scared. Gina, however, she's really speedy. Well, at least Sophia Wiley's stunt double is really good at rock climbing. Miss Jen has a moment with Courtney where she says she doesn't need to do anything she's not ready for, which is great. I'm pretty sure Josh spoiled this himself, but Dara Renee is getting her own original song next episode. She wrote it herself. And I'm gonna put this out there. I firmly believe the song is gonna be called Breathe or something like that because of what her mom said in episode 4. That after the rock climbing wall thing, Miss Jen exits. But it's okay because Miss Jennifer will return. All of the campers back at those massive bleachers, and Val announces the sing-off thing they're doing. Is Val a CIT or a camp head? Because she really acts like she's a co-head of camp next to Dewey. And she's also not on a team. She's like on both teams. I don't know if that means something else, but you know. So she explains the sing-off and then we get It's On. We already saw It's On previously because it was the song they released for the sneak peek for the whole season. I'm a little curious to know why they released this song, which is so far at the end of the season, instead of a song from the first episode or something. But it's okay because this song is a bop. It's so incredibly good. I personally think that Adrian himself and Meg Donnelly, they both very much carried this scene. I love watching the scene, it's so aesthetic. I love when the entire cast gets to sing all together. But something about the costumes. The blue team and yellow team, clearly they have their colors. But it's not like a uniform or anything. The outfits are personalized to each of the characters' personalities. It's their clothes. Why did everyone pack monochrome outfits? Did they know about this? Carlos's outfit is basically literally bananas. Just bananas on a matching shorts and t-shirt. Who packed that? Did he pack that? Did he know about this? I don't think so. Once again, I'd like to point out that these kids, they just packed everything and it all fit in Mr. Elton John's car. But they were prepared for this. They definitely were. Anyways, It's On is great. I love the little competition singing thing they did. It was very aesthetic to watch. And luckily, yellow team wins. Yay! Ricky is very keen on getting Jet and Maddox to apologize, so am I, but so far it's not working because Maddox does not want to put her guard down. Gina asks Corbin to do the Wildcat cheer and he says his High School Musical days are in the past. He also refers to the High School Musical universe as the High School Musical Cinematic Universe, otherwise known as the HSMCU, which I will be using in further reference. Ricky tells Gina that he will do the Wildcat cheer any day for her. Richard is down bad. She does say that she does need his help with something. Next thing we know, Ricky is luring EJ into the barn for a surprise. And the surprise is Gina in a cute little canoe ready to ask EJ out to the camp prom. But before I go into that, her in the canoe with the water around it, I don't think that's part of Frozen. It is definitely foreshadowing to something. I firmly believe this canoe scene is foreshadowing to the next season. It's giving either The Little Mermaid, like Kiss the Girl, or Tangled, I See the Light. Either one would be great. The Little Mermaid also was foreshadowed in episode 1 where Courtney puts the playbill of The Little Mermaid on Broadway on her bulletin board. Tangled or The Little Mermaid would be an incredible musical for season 4. I love the Leonard Portwell scene. EJ really does need to spend more quality time with his girlfriend. But of course, to ruin the moments of their beautiful cuteness in this canoe, EJ turns down Gina's wish to go to the prom, which honestly shattered my heart more than Gina's. He says there's a rule at camp prom that people aren't allowed to go with dates. From the promo, it's looking like Seb and Carlos are dancing together. And I'm pretty sure Maddox and Jojo Siwa are dancing together. So EJ, what the heck? Just go with her. You don't have to tell everyone you're going as dates. Why did he turn her down? Anyways, they're supposed to see fireworks, but there's no fireworks because Portwell is doomed. Then we go over to Ashlyn, who is helping Val clean up. Ashlyn apologizes to Val for snapping at her because she's not sure why she's been yelling at her so much. And Ashlyn realizes why she's been mean to Val this whole time when the fireworks start appearing over her head.
You have been nothing but nice to me. Okay, why on earth would I snap at you? Oh, that's why.
Honestly, this scene was really good. It was very great queer representation without full-on stating it. It was very creative on the writer's part. The fireworks just really pulled it all together. Ashlyn Moon Caswell, I apologize for calling you annoying. Just please tone down a little bit. Also, Big Red. Please don't hurt Big Red. You need to talk to him and you guys can have like a full breakup. Or you can still be with him if you swing both ways. I don't care, just don't hurt Big Red. I'm not sure if Ashlyn x Val is specifically happening. I was honestly expecting Ashlyn x Maddox. In the next scene, we see Jet and Ricky in the cabin. Ricky is crying because he saw Gina and EJ together. Ricky is very much down bad. We also find out that Mike Bowen got him a rock for his birthday. Mike Bowen, Dad of the Year. Jet clearly sees through Ricky. He talks about Gina and Ricky gets mad at him a little bit. Jet also mentions that Maddox and Madison broke up at the camp prom last year. And then Ricky gets an idea and the episode ends. I think his idea is to have Jet invite Madison to the camp prom to help him and his sister's bond reform. People are saying that Ricky is planning to break up EJ and Gina, but I don't think Ricky would swoop that low. EJ and Gina are still his friends, and if he gets with Gina, it's going to be in a more natural way. This episode was adorable. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 as well. And I am very thrilled to watch Camp Prom and the season finale, Let It Go. Before I end this video, I'd like to have a few final notes on the episodes. I've heard some complaints of season 3 being a copy of season 1 because of the love triangle. In my opinion, this love triangle is very different from the EJ, Ricky, Nene one. In this season's love triangle, we really get the perspective from all 3 characters. EJ's stressed out and he's having a hard time spending time with his girlfriend. Gina feels she's distancing from her boyfriend, and it turns to Ricky to have some comfort. Ricky still has unresolved feelings for Gina, but he's friends with EJ and Gina, so he doesn't really know how to feel. So I think this love triangle is very well written compared to the season 1 one, where all we really knew was that Nene liked EJ and Ricky was in love with Nene still. We really didn't get too much of EJ's storyline. We kind of felt like he was EJ 1.0, a bad guy. This season is also doing a really good job at balancing the drama and comedy, as I said earlier. It's honestly a really good season. Season 1 will always be my favorite, but this season is much better than season 2 in that department. This season has also had some very good serious scenes with really good acting. In my opinion, those scenes are Courtney and her mom on the phone call, Jet and Maddox fighting in the woods, and also their fight in episode 5, Jet and Val talking at movie night, Ashlyn and Val with the fireworks. Also today, while I was filming, well, a little bit before I was filming, we got the sneak peek for episode 7, Camp Prom. I have to say is that everyone looks incredible in their disco 70s outfits. Gina looks stunning, but she's crying at the end. And I swear to God, if Elton John Caswell broke her heart and they broke up, I will also be sobbing. Also, is Ricky going to confront Gina with his feelings this episode? Who knows? This season has also gotten a large number of leaks. Some of them have turned out to be true, some of them are just people joking. Some of the leaks included It's On being released a day before it was actually released. So I heard it when it got leaked, and I was trying to figure out who was singing what. But then the very next day we got the music videos. Another leak is Jet and Maddox being siblings. I did not read this one. Another leak was on the D23 website. It said EJ's name was Eric James, which has been proved false, thankfully. And I've heard there's a number of leaks about Camp Prom. Dang it, Twitter for spoiling again. Next week, the High School Musical cast is going to D23 in California. I really hope they announce the musical for next season. I can't wait. I really wish I was going, but I heard tickets are very expensive. So if anyone's going, tell me how it is. The last 2 episodes are titled Camp Prom and Let It Go. And I have a few theories, and I will make a video on the final 2 episodes if I find time. One is that Nene will make a final appearance, I'm assuming in the very last episode, and will be the final goodbye to her character. Natalie Bagley, aka the girl with the emotional support hamster, she said the end cliffhanger for the past 2 seasons, she should just appear. Like, I know she's not been in this season at all, but she should really just appear and be like, buckle up, Wildcats. This season is gonna be a mess, because I need that. I definitely need to see Courtney in the iconic blue dress for Elsa, because last season we did not get to see Ashlyn in the yellow bell dress, and that was a missed opportunity. So Courtney in the Elsa dress is a need, not a theory. I also theorized Jet and Maddox will somehow transfer to East High. It will be a little bit wild, but Jet did say he got expelled from school, so they need a new high school. I also think that Miss Jen and Big Red might make another appearance. Maybe they're coming to see opening night. I do need Ashlyn and Big Red to have a conversation. I think EJ and Gina will barely survive this season. They were really foreshadowing a love confession in episode 4, so I thought maybe they would get a love confession this episode or next. But next episode, Gina's crying, and I really hope it doesn't have something to do with EJ. Maybe it has something to do with her mom. or something else, but something tells me EJ did something bad. I just wanted a love confession. I just wanted them to survive this season, because next season I'll be okay if they break up and Ricky and Gina slowly get together. That will be okay. Because if they break up in the Camp Prom episode and Gina's with Ricky by the finale, I will be very mad. That's not like Gina at all. And one more theory is that I think the documentary, the kids will be able to watch it, and I think it's gonna paint it to look like Gina was cheating on EJ. I think that'll make EJ mad. It could be a cliffhanger. I don't know. I think that'd be interesting to see the reactions to the actual documentary. That's all I have to say about these episodes. I hope this video isn't too long. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon.